The Baltimore Ravens are living through a very interesting moment in the NFL. With Lamar Jackson increasingly established as one of the most dynamic and dangerous quarterbacks in the league, the franchise seems determined to give him the biggest array of offensive weapons of his entire career. In recent seasons, the Ravens have heavily invested in wide receivers and tight ends, trying to balance an offense historically built around the running game. And in 2025, the roster features names that give Jackson a diversified arsenal of options. Still, analysts believe this process of offensive reinforcement is far from over, and that the team could aim even higher in the 2026 draft. According to a projection made by Bleacher Report analyst Dane Parson, the expectation is that the Baltimore Ravens will use their first-round pick in the 2026 draft to select wide receiver Denzel Boston from the University of Washington. Boston, who has been rapidly rising in college football, is viewed as a true elite X-receiver, something Jackson has never had by his side since entering the NFL. Standing at 6'4" and 210 pounds, the young prospect stands out for his physicality and ability to use his body intelligently, shielding the ball and winning aerial battles against smaller defenders. Parson explained that although the Ravens are a team that maintains its identity with a run-heavy attack, this could actually become an even bigger advantage for a player like Boston. In a system where opponents are forced to commit to stopping the ground game, constant one-on-one opportunities arise. That is exactly the scenario where Denzel Boston can be devastating, taking advantage of his length and ball skills to provide Jackson with a reliable target, especially on contested throws. The analyst also highlighted that this could be the chance for Lamar Jackson to finally have by his side a receiver of the just throw it up and he'll get it type, something that has always been missing from Baltimore's passing attack. At the moment, the Ravens' wide receiver group doesn't appear to have major holes. Zay Flowers is emerging as the main young star. Rashad Bateman is still trying to solidify himself. DeAndre Hopkins arrived to bring experience and immediate impact. Devontae Walker and Tylan Wallace provide depth, and rookie LaJohntay Wester joins as another promising piece. However, looking ahead, the situation could become less stable. Hopkins is already 33 years old and signed only a one-year deal, which raises questions about his long-term future. Additionally, while Flowers is extremely talented, he is considered one of the smallest wide receivers to serve as a primary option in the league, which naturally limits certain tactical possibilities. In that context, Denzel Boston would fit in as a perfect solution. He could not only replace Hopkins once he leaves the team, but also complement Flowers with a completely different playing style, forming an explosive and balanced duo. While Flowers thrives with agility, speed, and separation on short and intermediate routes, Boston could serve as the physical reference point, capable of dominating strength matchups, particularly on third and longs and in the red zone. The hype around Boston is no accident. In his last collegiate season, after the departures of Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk, and Jalen McMillan, standout receivers who moved on to the NFL, he stepped up as Washington's primary target. The result was a major jump in production. 63 receptions for 834 yards and 9 touchdowns. Numbers that show not only efficiency, but also the ability to carry the offense in critical moments. The next step, according to analysts, is reaching the 1,000-yard mark in 2025, something considered highly likely now that he will have a full year as the unquestioned starter and top aerial option for his school. If he achieves that, the trend is that Denzel Boston will declare for the draft and immediately be projected as a first-round pick. For the Baltimore Ravens, selecting Boston would make sense even if wide receiver is not considered an urgent need. The draft, after all, isn't just about filling immediate holes, but also about planning for the future and often choosing the best talent available. And if Boston is at the top of the board when Baltimore is on the clock, it's hard to imagine the team passing on a player with such potential. It's worth noting that in recent years, Baltimore has been criticized for not giving Lamar Jackson elite receivers comparable to those other quarterbacks of his generation enjoy. Although tight end Mark Andrews is undeniably a trusted piece, the offense has always lacked a wideout capable of completely changing how defenses must adjust. With Denzel Boston, that narrative could finally change, consolidating a more feared and balanced passing attack without abandoning the team's traditional ground game dominance. The only question mark in this scenario is the future of DeAndre Hopkins. If the veteran, even at 33, can turn back the clock and rediscover the form that once made him one of the best receivers of the past decade, Baltimore might opt to extend his stay and consequently rethink its draft plans. However, considering the number of players who need touches in the offense and the need to invest in youth and long-term stability, that possibility doesn't seem the most likely at the moment. Thus, even though the 2025 season hasn't yet begun, eyes are already turning toward the 2026 draft and the possibility of Denzel Boston wearing Baltimore's purple and black. Should that happen, Lamar Jackson would finally have by his side a wide receiver with all the traits of a true number one, someone capable of transforming the Ravens' offense into one of the most complete in the NFL. For a franchise that has spent years trying to balance aerial talent with its traditional ground strength, adding Boston might be exactly the missing piece to turn potential into dominance. The Baltimore Ravens have long been known as one of the franchises most capable of identifying and developing talent that went undrafted in the NFL. Throughout their history, the team has built a reputation for giving opportunities to players who entered the league without much status but, through hard work and internal development, eventually became important contributors. And it looks like the Ravens may have found another hidden gem: offensive lineman Corey Bullock, now in his second year in the league. Bullock, a native of Accokeek, Maryland, went undrafted after playing college football at Maryland. Last year, Bullock nearly made the Ravens' final 53-man roster, but just missed out. Still, the franchise didn't want to part ways with him and kept him on the practice squad for the entire rookie season. During that time, he displayed maturity and dedication, using every practice to improve both technically and physically, preparing himself for another shot. The Ravens' bet on his development quickly paid off. In 2024, during the preseason, Bullock received an overall grade of 83.5 from Pro Football Focus, the highest of any first-year offensive lineman across the entire NFL in exhibition play. That was an early sign that Baltimore had a special player in the making, still developing, but with the potential to stick in the league. Now in 2025, Corey Bullock hasn't just maintained the level he showed last summer. He's taken another step forward. He is establishing himself as a reliable and versatile piece on the Ravens' offensive line, working primarily as an interior option with a focus on center, while also getting reps at guard. His progress has been so impressive that in the first preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts, he started at center. Even more telling, when two-time Pro Bowler Tyler Linderbaum was given a rest day by the coaching staff, it was Bullock who took charge of the offensive line with the first-team unit, a clear sign of the trust the staff has in him. Head coach John Harbaugh hasn't hidden his excitement about Bullock's growth. In a recent interview, he highlighted just how much the young lineman has improved in a short amount of time and praised his daily dedication. According to Harbaugh, the progress is obvious on the field, with Bullock performing well both as a center and as a guard. Jokingly, Harbaugh said that an offensive lineman's job boils down to blocking, and Bullock is standing out by doing exactly that, opening lanes in the running game and protecting his quarterback. His play against the Colts backed up that praise. Bullock looked solid in pass protection, anchoring well against opposing defenders, while also showing good awareness in the running game, assisting guards on double teams and climbing to the second level to neutralize linebackers, which created longer runs for Baltimore's backs. That blend of technique, power, and football IQ is a big reason why he's now considered the favorite to lock down the backup center role. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken also praised Bullock's work. He pointed out that many players view the practice squad as a temporary opportunity and don't fully commit to the process of development. But Bullock never fell into that trap. He treated every practice as a chance to grow and prove himself. Monken stressed that since last year, Bullock has shown commitment, seriousness, and a determination to get better every single day. Offensive line coach George Warhop has also been credited with helping shape Bullock's game and elevating him to his current level. It's worth noting that last season, rookie Nick Samak, a seventh-round pick, won the backup center job, but he never saw the field, remaining inactive all year. In 2025, however, Bullock has taken over as the favorite for the role, beating out not just Samak, but also Darian Dalcourt, another young hopeful at the position. The path for Corey now seems clearer than ever toward earning a meaningful role on the roster. This kind of story is nothing new in Baltimore. The Ravens have a history of turning undrafted players into valuable contributors. A recent example is Patrick Meckery, who also played tackle in college and went undrafted in 2019. He carved out a spot as a backup center and eventually developed into one of the most versatile linemen in the NFL, capable of playing all 5 positions before signing a significant free agent deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars as a guard. Meckery's story shows that in Baltimore, opportunities exist for those who put in the work, and Bullock appears to be following that exact blueprint. Another factor that could further boost Bullock's importance in the near future is the contractual situation of the Ravens' offensive line. Both Tyler Linderbaum and guard Daniel Falale are entering the final year of their rookie deals. Depending on how the front office approaches extensions and investments, Bullock could see even more opportunities in the coming seasons, potentially stepping into a larger role if his growth continues. Even Linderbaum himself has shown support for his teammate. On the team's official podcast, The Lounge, the Ravens starting center said he's excited about Bullock's progress, highlighting his intelligence, physical tools, and approach to the job. Linderbaum said he's fully confident in Bullock stepping in if needed, reinforcing the idea that the young lineman has already proven he can perform at a high level when called upon. In short, Corey Bullock embodies the philosophy that has defined the Baltimore Ravens for years, finding overlooked talent, patiently developing it, and eventually turning it into NFL impact. If he continues on this upward trajectory, not only will he secure a permanent roster spot in 2025, but he may also carve out a long-term career path, repeating the story of others who started out as unknowns and ended up becoming indispensable pieces.